are we speaking with today?
James Dudley.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Dudley.
I'm from Granite City, born here, raised in the South though. Came back, and it's been a trial since I got home. And that's been since '94, and I'm about to be 40 in a couple days.
What happened when you came back? What were you having to deal with?
It was a culture shock. I come from a different type of grew up in a different type of environment. This environment was a little bit slower, a little bit more not as laid back, a little bit more aggressive. 10 years old, wanted to be around everybody because that's how the South is. The whole neighborhood knows each other. Up here, the whole neighborhood doesn't know each other.
What part of the South were you in?
Louisiana.
And you were there from birth until?
Almost 11. And then came up here.
What kind of household did you come from?
Poverty-stricken. We didn't have a lot of money, but we had me and my brother. My sister lived with my great-grandparents, and my mom, I don't know where she was. I don't know where my dad was.
What did your grandmother teach you? Like, what kind of morals and stuff did she instill in you while you guys were growing up that you can remember?
Stick to the word. Stick to your word. Even if somebody's wrong, let them know they're wrong, no matter where you are. When they're right, you fight for who's right, and just keep going. Don't always give up, even when that seems like your only option.
Aside from this place being slower from Louisiana, what other things did you have to deal with in transitioning?
Snow. Never seen it before till I was over 10. And it's more expensive up here. So we were already low on the pole down there. Up here was even lower, but we had a lot of family. But that's the average extended family, friends and stuff like that. And then I went to prison at 11.
What was the situation with that? Like, what got you involved in the streets? Was it a street-related situation, or who introduced you to that?
It was my brother and friend of the family's. Just moving backpacks, don't know what's in it, got locks on it, and go one place to another, $200. That's a lot of money for a kid. And for some reason, the cops stopped me when we was going down the street, and he noticed that there was a big old lock on my bag, and he kind of got a little bit more pushy with it because I was being aggressive because I felt like he was wrong, and he forcefully opened my bag and seen there was 2 guns in there. So I didn't know where they came from or anything, so I can't say nothing. I'm 11 and no money, not political, and low on the pole with the community. They didn't waste no time and put me in jail. I went to IYC and went to Little Joliet.
What effects did that have on you being away when they sent you away? Like, how did that affect you?
Every way. Every way you came in. I was 11. I haven't even hit puberty yet. And my cellie he was 21, about to go to adult penitentiary. And he looked out for me, but I was the youngest in the camp. And he was only there like 6 months when I got there, and he left. But it affected everything. It affected my thinking, my manners, the assertiveness. Like, it affected, no matter what you did, you was under scrutiny, you was under constant stress, constant neglect. It was just not a good situation, and gone worse.
Upon release, when you were released, what was the plan?
Go home. Just be able to go home.
Did you ever finish school? How far in your education did you go?
8th grade, got my GED.
Okay.
And a little bit of college through prison.
What did you do after you got your GED? Did you pursue any employment or like?
Yeah, I tried. I came home. Well, I've done I've done majority of my juvenile, and then I did 21 years as an adult, and I'm only about to be 40. So I really got almost my entire life locked up as a young kid to a grown up.
So you got out and went back. So
Yeah.
how did the second time around affect you as an adult? Because I'm saying you were an adult on the second go round, correct?
No, I was still a kid.
Oh, you're still a teenager. Okay.
Went back for aggravated assault with great bodily harm, and did a couple years. Got out on good behavior, and then I went back as an adult. Every time the cases just got more severe, a little bit greater, more risk, more reward type stuff, and eventually it led to longer time. And before I knew it, I was 36 years old and just getting back out.
What's been the plan since you've been out at 36? Like, what have you been into?
A lot of work, hanging with my kids as much as I could. They're all my siblings. I don't get to see all my kids.
How many children do you have?
I have 3 myself, and my ex we just now like separated yesterday or early this morning. She has 3, and we've been together 9 years.
What's the relationship like with your siblings? Why is it strained?
I'm about to go see my first baby mama now. We got a good relationship, but I was gone, and she put the kid up for adoption. Never seen Aiden, only through pictures. Second kid was with Cassandra. I had Cameron all the time.
Siblings, I mean,
Oh,
siblings is your brothers and sisters. I was saying,
Yeah,
why
we
was
talk.
why you guys don't deal with each other?
I don't even know, to tell you the truth.
So it's not on you, it's on them.
Yep.
And when did the split happen with you guys?
When I came home last time. Well, I mean, it's always been a split because I've been gone. My sister don't know me for real, and my brother, he blames me for being gone.
How does that affect you? Because I'm sure you guys are all you guys have, right?
Well, when we were younger, it was. Kind of went backwards. Like, we had each other when we were younger, and I have my mom every once in a while when I'm older.
Your mom's still alive.
Yeah,
What's your relationship like with your mom?
Rocky. She's a very gun-ho and tough love type person. She doesn't care what goes on as long as you put your 8 hours in, keep your mouth shut, and stay off drugs. And the drugs is my addiction. That's my problem.
When did you get introduced to the toxic substances?
I didn't do nothing until I was 21. I drank periodically here and there, but never did no drugs until I was 21 years old. I sold drugs. I didn't do them.
What did it start with?
I started with heroin. I mean, I jumped to everything. I didn't like the smell of weed. Don't like how it makes me feel. I didn't like doing meth. I didn't like doing cocaine. I sold coke. And heroin I had got a table habit. Thought I was sick. My homies told me what was wrong, and it's been going from them then.
So did you stick with the heroin or did it go to something else?
Fentanyl, because the heroin's like almost obsolete now. And I was actually on my way to rehab when my door got kicked in this last time for selling drugs.
What's your take on the fentanyl epidemic, man? Like, what do you attribute that to? Because it's basically taken over on the streets.
That when I went away one time, heroin was not something you talked about. If you did an opiate, you didn't talk about it. It was like the dark shadow lingering over people that
Dirty little secret.
Yeah, they didn't talk about it.
No.
Came home, it was socially acceptable. It kind of hit that curve and just blew up after that. And my generation took it and let the next generation abuse it, because it came back as I was growing up. It was just making a slow comeback, but then it just blew up when I was in my 20s. Around here it did. And you can see in the community the devastation it has in a quick effect, because this place has slowly been destroyed over time. I've been here since I was almost 11, and I've watched it, because since I've come in and out, I get a chance to actually see the destruction of what's happening. So it's different for me looking at it than most people.
Do you think it's a systematic thing where it's been put here on purpose to destroy like everybody, because it's basically picking up where the crack left off, but it's way more deadly, it's way cheaper, it's way stronger, and it's like it's way more, the devastating effects of the fentanyl is just insane.
Yeah, it had to come. Like I've had my door kicked in twice, so I know if they don't want it here, it don't got to be here. So it is definitely coming from somewhere higher up there allowing it to happen. But it's that job security stuff for all these other people that are employed by it. Whether you sell it, you arrest them, you babysit them in prison or in county, like this, a lot of work that goes into it. They're not going to ever let it go away.
And what kind of advice would you give a young person who's thinking about dibbling and dabbling in the street life and drugs, and what would you tell them?
Go home. And if you can't go home, find somewhere they want you and be there. Because the streets don't want you, they just want to take. There's a few people we see on TV or we see in our area that make it big doing this type of stuff, but far and in between, and it ain't the truth. Those people that make it big, they ain't have no loyalty to anybody but themselves. They tell them everybody when they get the chance, you don't stay out here for nothing, and you gotta pay some way, and it's usually the smaller people that pay.
If you had to go over and talk to a young Mr. James, knowing what you know today, you can go back in time, what would you tell them?
I don't know, because even though it's been hard, I'm better than what I think I would be. The things I've been taught and taught myself, like I don't think I'll be able to survive without it. So I mean, I don't know if I would tell myself to do anything different. Maybe work out a little bit more, be a little bit healthier when you start doing bad. Because if you ain't got no win, you ain't got nothing.
And in closing, Mr. James, if you want to say anything, leave us with any advice, any wisdom, any knowledge that you've acquired along the way. Now's the time you can say it.
Yeah. Get as many friends as possible, because family ain't always promised. But don't turn your back on them, and work hard and enjoy it if you can.
We appreciate you, Mr. James, and we thank you for taking time out with us. Thank you, man.